You're a versatile, heat-seeking missile who can cover. What do you think enables you to have the kind of success that you have had in the football field in college, and how will that translate to the next level?
Yeah, definitely. I like to say playing with a chip on my shoulder. A lot of people see me as an undersized safety, but I just try to, utilize my God given abilities every way I can and be able to dominate and be productive on the field in every way I can. Whether I'm just, just trying to maintain a high motor throughout the whole game and just trying to be the first to the ball, and also just trying to have that leader presence on the field as well. Just trying to take control of a defense. I think just my confidence and the chip on my shoulder just enables me to, play to my strengths and be able to play a well fascinated game. So.
When you watch the tape, you can see examples where you read and react and you run to the ball carrier, you make a tackle for a loss. You can run the post and cover downfield. We've seen examples of you playing single high safety. That's often an indicator of range and an ability to cover. You're in the box. How have you been able to develop such a varied skill set that enables you to impact games in a number of different ways?
Yeah, I mean, I've had a lot of good teachers along the way. Transferring from Richmond, when I first got to Wake, I had a different defensive coordinator at the time, Coach Lyle Hemphil. I think he's with JMU now, but we were a one high defense, and that really was just me just playing the deep post a lot and sometimes rolling down and being able to, cover tight ends or cover slots and be in the box. And when Brad Lambert and my safeties coach, James Adams, came in, we ran a man quarters concept where, that was majority of the time the field safety, and in our base coverages, that would be on one in the run fit a lot, while also having different packages on third down where I'm able to roam around and be utilized in different aspects, whether that's be in the slot, around the ball, spying the quarterback, even sometimes even running defensive stunts with the defensive lineman, just trying to be that chess piece that just moves around everywhere. The more and more reps I get, it's just the more confident and capable I am in those different spots to be able to be productive. So just a lot of experience being able to move myself around, because I feel like I have a skill set where, you can't limit me to one thing. Wherever you're going to put me on the field, I'm able to execute on if given the opportunity. So yeah, definitely been blessed to have really good teachers and coaches along the way that's really trusted me in those positions and been able to, be productive on Saturdays when given the opportunity.
Yeah, how much do you think that's going to benefit you as well? Because I suppose in the modern NFL, a safety has to do a bit of everything. There's a lot of teams that run three safety looks. They're looking at matchups, who needs to cover who needs to be in what role week to week. It's not quite as rigid as it used to be. Like, you're a free safety, you're a strong safety, and this is what you're going to do in most games. You've kind of got to wear a lot of different hats, haven't you, week to week?
Yeah, the league that, I'm gonna be blessed to be able to play in is just growing every year. And it's a passing league where you just gotta be able to be versatile on aspects of the football. So just being in my position, being able to move around and be productive in different spots, it just brings me more value to the table, and gives the defensive coordinator the opportunity to like play around and see what ways he can utilize me to help benefit the team as a whole. So, it's just something that, I was definitely, I'm glad that I was able to showcase that on film. The past few years I was at Wake Forest, and just being able to build upon those, build on my strengths, learn on the areas of improvement, and keep going and building upon that in the NFL.
I hope you don't mind me saying, but when I was watching you, I just kept thinking you look so much like Buda Baker out there. That was sort of the comp that immediately came to mind. But I wondered, who are the players that you've maybe sort of looked at over the years? Is there anybody that you've tried to model your game on a little bit, or even if you just sort of picked little aspects of certain players who are in the league to say, I can be like them when I reach the NFL?
Yeah, Buda Baker for sure is probably number one for me. But at the same time, been able to appreciate other safeties in the league, just trying to be a sponge, just trying to soak up any kind of information I can, maybe different techniques, maybe different things I can pick up from them and kind of utilize it in my game. But yeah, Buda Baker is just someone that is just, you're just going to see him command the field and be that anchor of that defense, just flies around, has no fear. It was something that I saw when the NFL used to do like the film breakdowns with the players, and he was mic'd up and saying like stuff like when he comes and smashes someone from 20 yards deep, and someone's asking, man, how do he do that? It's like he just has no fear. And I feel like I just carry that the same kind of motive when I step on the field, just having no fear, just trying to run through someone's face every time I get the chance. So he was just someone that was just so dynamic in college, and he never lost a beat. He really just, kept getting better year by year. So yeah, love Buda Baker. I appreciate guys like Antoine Winfield as well. That was an all-pro player this year. He was an undersized guy that I watched a little bit when he was at Minnesota, and then just seeing how he has been in the league is just it's always been there, and now he's able to just kind of prove himself. I really appreciate those undersized guys for sure, because that's a common thing that I usually get in my position, just being the size I am. But just trying to separate myself from the crowd and be different in any way I can is what feels like is going to help me in the long run and help separate my game from a lot of people.
It's funny that although it is a passing league these days, and statistics and being able to throw the ball around the field is such a big part of the NFL, the minute that somebody says, I just want to run through somebody's face, it just brings a smile to everybody's face. Yeah. You seem to love a hit. There was one at Clemson that really sort of stood out when I was watching through things. Can you put me in your headspace when you see an opportunity to go and deliver a safe, legal, but forceful hit? Do your eyes light up in that moment? Do you kind of get a feeling, here's my opportunity?
Yeah, because you only get so many opportunities throughout the game, so I just try to make the most out of them every time I get the chance. So when it's one-on-one, you got to tell yourself, are you going to let this dude win the one-on-one battle, or are you going to be the one that comes out on top? So just having that mindset, throughout the whole game, there's still moments where it's you and the ball carrier, like, and it's up to you what you want to do with it. So every chance I get, I take that as a challenge, and I try to win most of my challenges every chance I get. So definitely.
And your instincts seem to be really good as well. How much of that is down to sort of tape study and preparation in the week, and how much of that is just feeling things as they develop on the field? What is the key here?
Yeah, tape study is definitely important. I really like to kind of just try to pick up a lot of different, route concepts or like tendencies that opponents have. But at the same time, you know, the more I played at the D1 level, it's just like you get more comfortable and you get to try out a lot of different stuff, and you get to trust your abilities, trust your instincts. So there's times when, you might do something a little bit unorthodox, but at the same time, you're making a play because that's what's needed at that given moment. There was a play where against Florida State, I came from like 10, 15 yards deep to get a TFL. And it was like, yeah, I seen it on tape, but my instincts was just to go, you know, like don't give them an inch. It was 2nd and 1. I don't want to let them get a yard. I want to get them to a 3rd and medium situation, give ourselves a better chance to get off the field. So in that moment, you just got to take a lot of things into account, but then just focus on yourself in that moment and trust your brain, trust your instincts, trust your film study. All of it comes together as one. So yeah, it's definitely a mix of both for me.
Yeah, so many examples where you are, you're not at the line of scrimmage, but it's almost as if you were. The fact that you managed to get into the backfield as quickly as you did. Team captain at Wake Forest. So how would you describe your leadership style?
Yeah, I'm a vocal leader, definitely for sure. And I just want the best out of everybody, whether that's in the off season where, people are limiting themselves during workouts, they know that they have an extra gear, and it's up to me to try to motivate them to get to that point. You know, there's a lot of times in the game where you think you're finished, you think you don't have anything left, but then your mind got to come into play and, take over, and everything else is going to be able to come to play. And just me just trying to bring the energy I can every time and just have that high motor, just try to have that effect on everybody, that emotional effect on everybody, to kind of get everybody on board, everybody locked in on the same mission. At the end of the day, we're trying to win games, trying to be dominant. We're trying to limit the team from scoring. We're just trying to do everything, uphold that standard for us. So, every time I can, no matter how I feel, I just try to put everyone's emotions ahead of mine. And the betterment of the team is for me to get everybody to that same point and help us, ultimately get through that finish line.
Are you a big speech guy? Do you speak to the guys before a game?
Oh yeah, most definitely. There's some pregame, uh, right before we step onto the field, even on the sideline during the game. It's all over. I'm never gonna stop talking. This time I'll lose my voice, but they know something is wrong when I'm not talking. So I gotta keep it going for 60 minutes for sure.
I don't understand, because when I watch the tape and I'm kind of like looking online and you're not being talked about enough. And it makes me wonder, can you use that as something to your advantage? You've mentioned a little bit that it has a chip on your shoulder. Does it add extra motivation? Does it spur you on? What we see on tape isn't, to me, you don't get enough credit for what you achieved at Wake Forest.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's not about proving other people wrong. It's about proving yourself right. And I don't like to get caught up in, what media talks about me, whatever the case may be. Wherever round I land, wherever team I'm blessed to be able to play for, just getting myself into the door. Because all the stuff in the past that I'm able to do, all the stuff in the past that other people in my position were able to do, it doesn't matter once you get into the league. It matters about what you're able to bring now. And that's all I'm focused on. I'm ready to contribute. I'm ready to dominate. I'm ready to showcase who I really am. And like I said, I'm just trying to prove myself right, that it's always been in me. It's always been a part of me. It's always going to be something that I'm always going to carry. It's not something new to me to be underrated or undervalued or anything like that. But I just know whenever I do get the opportunity, 9 times out of 10, really 10 times out of 10, I'm going to really make the most out of it. So, the hype, popularity, all that, is temporary. What I got, what abilities I have, what I'm going to be able to contribute to is what really matters. So I try not to, get caught up in that.
What are your aims and ambitions for the NFL?
At the end of the day, I'm just trying to be the best player I can be. It's what the greats say, Tom Brady, the Kobe Bryants, you know, just try to be different from the crowd. I try to separate myself when I was in Pop Warner football, middle school, high school, even college, and the same thing in the NFL. The hardest thing is to stay in the league, not just get there. So, you know, trying to just be the best possible player and person I can be on a daily basis is what's going to help elevate my game, is what's going to help elevate myself to get those accolades, get those awards, get that recognition, and all that's going to come into play once I'm able to do that. So
I'm always fascinated by this time of year, Malik, and the preparation that goes in for the combine, what it involves. Can you give us a flavor as to what your daily routine is like at the moment?
yeah, so obviously, so I'm training in Florida right now. So wake up, eat a good breakfast, definitely get treatment. I'm really into like prehab, like, just trying to work on different parts of my body, so I don't have to worry about that later down the road. Things like that. Just trying to get myself ready. You know, we have a conditioning run, things like that, or like speed training for the combine and things like that. After that, I get some rest, and then I have to go back in and do another lift, and then come back home, eat again. And before I usually go to bed, I got bought like a projector, able to like watch film on. So it's been really nice having that, just trying to have that same feel like as you did when you had film like back in college, in the film room and stuff. So I just try to kind of recreate that in my home space, things like that. So yeah, the routine's quite simple. It's nothing um unordinary. It's just trying to, you know, do something different that maybe other people aren't doing. Definitely.
Is there a lot to prepare for? Because you don't just have the physical testing, you are going to be speaking to teams as well. You want to put your best foot forward in both instances. So, do you have to prepare for what it's going to be like to sort of be mentally and physically ready to go and give your best performance on the field? But then you've got long medical checks potentially because everybody has to go through that, and you've got long interview schedules, and they might be waiting around in Indianapolis for whatever is going to come next. Is it a mental challenge in that regard as well?
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely a toll. I kind of got a preview of that when I was at the Senior Bowl, like, doing, long interviews and things like that. But, you know, you just got to remember the common goal of why you're here. And I feel like that's what's really going to be able to keep you going through those long days, those long nights. You know, the physical things is all nerve wracking, the interviews. But at the end of the day, it's all for that lifelong dream that you had as a kid. And that's what's going to help motivate you. That's what's going to help me get through those days, get through those nights. And that's what's going to help me put my best foot forward and having the best possible showing I'm able to have. So, yeah, it's definitely a grind, but it's a grind off season, in season, all the extracurricular stuff. Like it's all a collective grind. So, nothing that I'm shying away from.
Last three questions. First of all, what was your time in Mobile like for the Senior Bowl?
Yeah, it was definitely a good time. Just being able to compete with a lot of the best college football players in the nation, while also being able to get coached by NFL guys. Picking up on things they're able to teach us and improve my game while I was there. And the atmosphere was great. A lot of people in Mobile love what we had going on down there, and being able to interview with teams was also awesome. Just being able to just do football, just doing ball work, getting to know me, just meeting people in person was definitely nice, just to get a preview of who I am as a person, as a player. So just being able to have that and then build upon that next week when I go to Indianapolis.
Is there a teammate or someone who is also in this draft class who deserves a shout out, that maybe people are sleeping on, someone that people should know about?
Yeah, people definitely sleeping on my teammate, Kalen Carson. Just a lockdown, gritty corner that really needs to be appreciated in this corner's draft class. He was someone that was just so locked in throughout the weeks and just focused on locking down that number one receiver. And he's a guy that's really mature enough and ready for the NFL, I would say. He's someone that you're going to get the best out of him, and he's always ready to go on Saturdays. So I feel like the more and more people watch his film, the more they're going to fall in love with him, and he's versatile as well. He's not a one-dimensional guy. So it's a lot of good things. These next few months, people are going to start talking more about Kalen Carson.
And finally, what will draft day be like for you? Who will you be with? And have you pictured in your mind what it will be like when you get that call and you're officially an NFL player?
Yeah, definitely thinking about having like a draft party in my hometown, Charlotte, North Carolina, family and friends. Again, that call just be a blessing of all the hardships, all the ups and downs that I faced throughout my life. And just that moment, you work so hard for certain moments of your life. And that moment is something I'll definitely cherish forever. And it was something that I would definitely surround myself around the people I love and care about the most. So yeah, it will definitely be a surreal feeling, and something I definitely won't forget. So yeah.
Well, Malik, it's been as impressive to speak to you today as it has been watching your tape. So the very best of luck throughout this process, and can't wait to see you playing in the NFL.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me, Rob. Been awesome.